Okay, so we're going to be doing a little thing here on how to get 500 diamonds in a short time period here. So I got this offer this morning. 1,000 diamonds. You have to pay 500 diamonds and then you get 1,000. And of course, I started checking around a little bit to see, what options do I have? Do I have diamonds in here? Looks like I've got these all purchased. And let's see. This one here, I had used up all my coins as well, so I didn't have any diamonds in there. I did go into the guild expeditions and I bought 3 of these. I had 3 of these sitting here, so 30 diamonds there. That brought me up to 457. So I started out with 427. Now, to give you a little bit of context here, the other day I purchased 1,000. Let's see, I came in here and I spent, I think I bought 3 of these. Or actually maybe I just bought 1. I'm trying to remember how many I bought. Anyway, it took me from, actually I think I bought 3 of them. Yeah, I think I bought 1,500 of them. And so that took me from somewhere around 2,000 down to 427. And then I got 30 from the guild expedition. I don't know if they send these offers at a time when, they can kind of tell that you don't have diamond, free diamond options available. The one thing that did happen is the guild expedition, the battleground trials event just began today, being Thursday. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and select trial 50 because I don't really like to spend a lot of time in the battlegrounds here. So I do like to put it at 50, trial 50. Let's see if we can get some diamonds this way. And if we can't get enough, I need another 50 diamonds. If I can't get 50 diamonds on the battleground, with enough coins to purchase more diamonds, then we've got another little trick up our sleeves. So let's get a different kind of army here. Tell you what, one thing about the Yucatan or Yucatomo empires, you definitely don't have a shortage of rogues. And the what is it, the eco, let's go back and look at that. Eco Nexus, I've got 3 of these in the city, and these give you 30 random next age units. I think I do have one, a lunar, which also gives you next age units. Anyway, so I'm not hurting for next age units because of that. I'm going to start out with the defense here because my defense is a little bit weaker, and so we do that first while attrition is still low, and then we'll switch to attack once attrition is a little bit higher. Okay, let's not have that happen again. For some reason it seems just a little bit more difficult. I don't remember losing this many units right off the bat, but not to worry. I really don't like to spend a whole lot of time in guild the guild battlegrounds, so that's why I use trial 50, because you can pull in a whole lot more rewards more quickly. I can usually do about 2 provinces, whatever you call them, territories. I usually start out with a defense, if there's one available, and then switch to an attack. Uh-oh. That doesn't happen often. Let's try something else here. No, that didn't work either. Okay, so let's switch back to these two, I think. I think that's my best. 1 heavy unit and 1 ranged unit. I have thought about upgrading to, or leveling up to colonial, so that I would have ranged light units. Ranged light units that can hide in the forest. That could be a real benefit, especially on the continent map. You could just camp out in a tree somewhere and pick off the enemy as they approach. Let's see. Seems like maybe we should build. Okay, they got some buildings going there. Okay, well, let's see what happens here. We'll do this province yet, and then we'll see if we have enough coins to pull in 50 diamonds. If you're watching the video and you want to get past, some of this repetitive stuff, you can obviously fast forward or skip forward to look at the results. I'm just doing this all live. I'm not very sophisticated when it comes to making a video. I'm just recording my screen, and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube probably. Just kind of want to get a little bit more familiar with the whole recording aspect of things. Obviously you can see my attack is a little bit stronger. I think I'm somewhere around 12,000 looks like for the battlegrounds. And that actually is without even focusing. I don't really focus on battleground attack boosts. I'm more interested in just the straight base attack boost, attack and defense boost, because I have the most fun. I get the most enjoyment out of seeing how far I can go on the continent map. So right now I am just about ready to go into the Space Age Mars. I'm ready to go into Space Age continent map, I just got a couple things to finish up. That'll be another video. I will do a video on defeating the hardest, most difficult army with the 4, I think they're, trying to think, rocket. I'd have to go look and see what they are. They have the 4, they do damage to all the surrounding units. And for a while I was actually stuck in oceanic future for a while because I couldn't get past those turtle thingies. I forget what they're called. I couldn't get past them because they would wipe out my army before I could even get across the, or even make my first move. But then I was using the next age light units, and I would hide out in the trees and force them to come to me, and that's how I was finally able to okay, so we don't have any more territories, provinces to, obviously at 100% attrition we wouldn't get very far at all. So let's just see what we got going in here. Let's see if we have enough to, well, I don't have enough to buy anything there. Okay, so I can buy some diamonds here. Looks like this is going to do it for me. Yeah, 6,000. I have just enough. Okay, so two provinces at trial 50 will get you 50 of these. Of course, I did need the 30 from the guild expeditions. That's been sitting there. I kind of stopped doing guild expedition. Okay, well, let's go ahead and I now have 507 diamonds, so we're going to go ahead and make this trade, and that is 500 additional diamonds. A fairly easy acquirement there. So yeah, if you're sitting on a bunch of diamonds, you might want to spend them down to, well, somewhere close to 400. I think I was at 420. I spent my diamonds down to 427, and then the next day they gave me this offer. I've had this happen a number of times when I spend my diamonds down to 400 or a little bit below or whatever. They'll give you this offer, and what I was gonna do if I wouldn't have been able to get the diamonds from the battlefield, here's what I was going to do. I've got 1,000 store building kits, and the place that I get those from is these the holly haulers, and they don't even have to be ascended. You have a 30% chance at getting 10 fragments of a store kit from the holly haulers. And again, they don't even have to be ascended. So store kits are really useful, because what I would have done is I would have stored, probably would have stored a bunch of these emporiums, and then I would have planted there's so many items in the inventory, it takes a while for it to even load a search. Not sure. Oh, it's got an apostrophe. So I've got 14 crow's nests, and those have a 5% chance at 25 diamonds. I would have planted a bunch of those, and then I would have used one of my almost 4,000 finished special, or I would have used, you know, as many of these finished special productions. I've got almost 4,000 in stock. And I also am just about ready to level this. So I would have probably, yeah, I would have tried to double a crow's nest. So that was my plan if the battleground wasn't going to work. Of course, you could do the same thing with wishing wells, but I like the crow's nest because they have a little bit of a larger, I think instead of 10 they give 25. So obviously if you doubled it with the Blue Galaxy, that would give you 50. And so that was the plan, but we didn't get that far. I also plan to do a video on me reorganizing my city. I've just been adding a lot of buildings and just kind of putting them wherever I can. So as you can see, I've got a lot of dead space and it's very inefficient. This all needs to be cleaned up, so I'll do a video and show you my technique there. And as I mentioned, I'll give you a little appetizer here on the continent map. I've got everything conquered except for one little province here, and here is the, I'm going to do a video on this one right here. This is probably one of the hardest armies, one of the most difficult armies to, you know, obviously I couldn't negotiate, went my way through this. There was another province that had a very similar setup where it had 4 of these rocket troops on the second wave army, so I couldn't use my missile launch from my Virgo project. I usually use my missile launch to wipe out most of the first army, but then when these rocket troops or the turtle thingies from Oceanic Future are in the second wave, you have to deal with them. You can't wipe them out with any of your boosts. So these things are nasty. I'll just give you a little appetizer how difficult these things are. For example, let's say I do something like this, and let's just go in here and I'll show you what. Let me see if I can wipe out this first army pretty quickly here. Okay, not too bad. Let's start the next battle. And so obviously before I even get to move, you see what they're doing to me? They're just tearing me to pieces. So you can see my army's already half gone. And before I get to them, so usually what you have to do is you have to spread these things all the way out. Because otherwise actually these are within 2 tiles of each other, so they are going to get so yeah, you know, that's how that works. Well, maybe we'll just take out the, oops, that wasn't too smart. Maybe we'll get this obviously with the attack boost that I have now, this is not nearly as difficult as it was at one time. So we'll just, it was going to be an appetizer, but I decided to just finish it off and get it done with, because so that wasn't too bad. It'll be interesting to see what I guess we'll go ahead and scout that yet. It will be interesting to see what Mars looks like. Space age Mars. The rest of this should be pretty easy. So probably my next video I will be deep into Mars somewhere. Okay, that'll be it for today.